recording. Okay, so shall we move forward with electing a chair? And then I guess we had a few ideas on who wanted to be elected last time. I believe John volunteered to be the chair.
We want to call for nominations, and I think that
Kim, do you want to go ahead and take the lead on that?
Yeah, if you want to call for nominations, right? So we want to that there was somebody would put forward that there was a call for nominations, so we can determine who we would be voting for. And I know this conversation sort of has happened, but for the sake of the process and for people that are new and weren't here last time, we want to call for nominations. So just by raise of hand, if you have a nomination to put
I
forward.
have a nomination.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate John for the chair. And are we just doing the chair right now, or are we?
Yeah, let's start with the chair.
Okay, so I'd like to nominate John. He showed a lot of interest in it, and I think it's a great pick. So if anybody agrees.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
I will second that nomination. I think that John would make an excellent chair for us here.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Okay. So then we want someone to call for a vote.
I call for a vote.
Thank you,
on
Shasta.
Merrick as chair.
Right, so we're voting for electing John as chair.
Yep. Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. John, are you voting for yourself? All right.
I voted for myself, and then now you're supposed to say the words, and I'll say I'll accept the nomination.
All right. Thank you.
I haven't heard the magic words yet. Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, well, it's just making sure everyone's on there. So John, do you accept the nomination?
Absolutely.
The nomination as chair for the council.
Absolutely.
Excellent. All
Thank you,
right.
John.
So I don't know if we're going to have any swearing in process or anything, but John, do you want to take the lead on calling for vice chair, or do you want me to keep going?
I think keeping on movement, I would like to maybe call an idea of a parliamentarian or a legislative policy and research office analysis for my behalf to help me in between the rules and the policy points that we have to go through. We could talk about that later on as a department, and then take it to the council, of course, having the approval on that. I think that would help me a lot while we're going through what we're going through today. So I would like you to go for it just for this process, and then I can continue on with the minutes and movement after that.
Perfect.
That sound
Thank you,
good?
John. That sounds great to me. Thank you. So we'll do the same process for calling for nominations for the vice chair.
I have a nomination for the vice chair.
Lisa?
I nominate Neil Dixon. I think that was, we talked briefly about that before. So that's my nomination.
And I second that nomination.
Okay. Colin seconded. All right. So someone want to call for a vote?
I'll call for a vote.
Thanks, Shasta. So everyone in favor of Neil for vice chair? Show of hands. Okay. All right. So Neil, do you accept your nomination and as vice chair?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Thank you. And is there any other positions we're voting for today? That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody.
What's on our agenda? Are we still there, or we need a program update, Kim, or are we still in our position right now?
No, I think we're good to move on to program update if that's acceptable with the group.
All right,
So, okay. So I can provide the program update, which is going to be short and sweet today. As you heard in our introductions today, Stacy Mullins has been promoted to a co-program manager position with us. And we're very excited to have Stacy in that role and the role itself to be available to the program. So I think this offers a lot of opportunity for our program. So welcome Stacy in her new position. And Amy Butler is also in a new position. She is now an administrative specialist too. We're going to come up with a better title than that, but that's her current classification. And she will be moving into our equity and policy team. So from supporting the adult in-home team to supporting our equity and policy work and continuing to support the council. So that is another program shift. So I will be more prepared with other program updates, but for right now, that's kind of where some of the biggest things that have happened. And we're still in recruitment for multiple positions, so we'll might be seeing new faces in our leadership team and others as well. But that's program updates for now. Thank you.
a committee member, anything on the legislative slate? I did see those 3 bills, but anything in the last month that popped up that may or may not need to be known for the committee in a way of legislative commitment?
I'm to be truthful, I'm not prepared to cover legislative right now, but I do know that yeah, there's a few bills that did get approved right out there.
We can talk
That
about that later. All right.
yeah, that
Thank
we
you
can
very
talk
much
about
for the
later.
honesty as a committee member for that. I guess I should call myself to talk if I have a question on myself on behalf.
Well, it's all right to
Whatever works.
yeah.
All right. What's up on Stacy Mullins, part of your program update, Kim? You
Oh,
said everything that you need
it's-
to put onto that?
It'll be Stacy can speak to what she has on her. She's next. So interested in interview panels is Stacy's.
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
So hi, everyone. As Kim mentioned, we're doing a lot of, well, you heard about a couple of promotions, and that's pretty common in our program. We're doing a lot of hiring, and the hiring continues. And we are interested to learn more from you all about your willingness and availability to sit on interview panels when we have various interviews happening amongst our program. So I bring this topic up because I'm not really sure the best way to go about this, but I thought maybe what we could do, if this works for you all, is we can, like, I can send something out to get your interest. Like, are you interested and willing to participate? If so, like, do you have a preference? Case management, I mean, we have a variety of different job postings or different jobs that we do amongst our program, and I could tell you what all those options are. And then you could say, yes, if you're recruiting for case managers in these areas, I would be interested. Or if you're recruiting eligibility or ONA assessors or abuse investigators, or, you know, you could identify areas you might be interested in. Or if you're willing to do them all, you might be careful about saying that, but we have lots and lots of job postings. We absolutely would like to include your voice in this process of hiring. So it's on here just for me to sort of throw it out there, but we could formalize something if that's easier for me to contact the group and sort of see who's interested in what. Your thoughts?
I would be very interested in that, actually. I think that's a great idea.
Good.
Very much.
Good. And I've reached out individually for some folks, and we'll try to be more planful about this and getting schedules out ahead of time. This is just something we're starting to do. So I definitely would like to put a process in place.
I think having a department category plan in a way of, of that type of hiring process. And the janitors to the, to the next executive like yourself, Stacy.
Mhm.
I'm not saying do every single one, but give us at least some categories and where maybe our passion, maybe your expertise, maybe be more, pointed out. If it's social inclusion specialist to, to other, abuse hotlines, to other applications. That would help us if we could get that in the next 2 weeks. I know it's an ongoing process, but if we get that 2 weeks or 3 weeks, knowing it's a busy schedule, even that would help us a lot in our decisions in wanting to be involved. Personally, I would love to be involved, but I also know the hiring process takes 2 days sometimes notice rather than, a week notice. So, give us the two different cells in a way of what the process may be.
Okay,
Some hire jobs take, many months to hire, like yours maybe, and some jobs take 2 weeks. So, try to categorize them, and that plus departments will help us, knowing that we have to take care of our kids with disabilities and, and others in a way of our own schedule making.
Yep.
Anyone else have an idea on this interview panel that you guys have always dreamt about all your life?
I just have a question. So when you're interviewing for, let's say, a service coordinator, and it's maybe 1, 2, or 3, however many callback interviews you do, would you want one of us to sit down on all of it, or more like the final interview process?
Well, we kind of look at each job individually. And so here's the balance we create, like trying to get a mix of people in the room without having too many people on your interview panel, but having diverse perspectives on your interview panel. So sometimes we have that might, if we're interviewing for something specific, we might pull a couple state people as well or other things. So I would say you wouldn't have to be on every single panel, but we'd probably reach out to you individually about first or second round. You have to either set on the whole first round, set on the whole second round, but it could be different people who participates in different rounds of an interview process, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sarah.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. All right. I guess I'm a little bit confused on why you need the coalition's opinions on this in a way of where I am getting confused is when the coalition or board has to approve a director's, position. So the whole entity needs to be, are you asking for a whole entity? Like we have to come back to the committee, or you just asking
Nope.
individuals out in the community in a way of them being in the hiring part of what you guys do in the office? Is that what I'm hearing, right?
Yep, we're asking individuals out in the community, yes,
Okay.
participate. It won't, nothing, nothing will come back to this council for approval of those positions, with the exception of a program manager, which we didn't have a voting council in when I was recently hired, so that wasn't something that we were able to do, but it would be just individual.
I got a broader perspective on this, and hopefully the public does too. Thank you.
Yeah. I will craft something and get it out to you all, and then you individually can let me know if you're interested. Does that sound okay? All right. Thank you all.
Are we up to mission statements in a way of other departments in ways that we've co-collaborated departments? Like we haven't had a department meeting yet, but are we at that point yet, or we are still on our own doing our own mission statement for this council?
So I can answer that. And I was prepared to give an update definitely on our mission, vision, and values. So I mentioned last time that we have put together a work group to talk about equity issues in our workplace. And it was very specifically in response to basically some racism in our services that we would like to be able to respond to more proactively. So we put together a work group, and one of the things that we noticed is that we don't really have a statement that we provide to people to let them know where we stand in terms of equity and what kind of what our program stands for. So we put together a subgroup to do a mission, vision, and value statement. We have had a chance to get together once. We have not put together all of those things, but we got started. What we did was we did a little bit of brainstorming around the things that we think of when we think about the services that we provide and what kind of community we want to provide. So I'm going to show this to you. This is a list of kind of our brainstorming. And I'm going to go ahead and read it to you as I show it to you. And I'd like you to consider if there's anything that jumps out at you that's missing from this list of words and phrases when you think about services that we provide, and also anything that really hits you and really resonates with you that I could just kind of put a star on, and I can take that back to the work group and make sure that we are getting feedback from you too about what's important. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to go ahead and share my screen and go through this. All right, can everybody see this? No one that I'm looking at is giving me a thumbs up.
Yes, we can
Yes.
see
Thank
it.
you. All right, so this is
See it without a phone.
okay.
Can you make it just a tiny bit bigger? I mean, I might be the only one with old age eyes, but like just a little bit
Not
bigger.
alone.
Yes, I'm just gonna try and figure out how to do that. Oh, there we go. Well, it then turns it into one page. But I think I can.
Can you scroll it up and
I have not done a lot of sharing screen. I'm sorry.
down in the right hand corner, there's that bigger up and down. Yeah,
Yes, I
that
see that. Okay. All right. How's that? Is that good? A little bit more? Again, I
it
just
still does it. Yeah, you might have to scroll up on the side to get all of it in, but if you scroll up on your the right hand
Yes.
side, yeah, it's a little bit better. Yes, thank you. Sorry.
all right. No, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. There we go. Sorry. I'm trying to find my cursor. Okay. So these are the things that we came up with, the 2 pages of words. Partnership, intention, community, right services at the right time, integrity, curiosity, kindness, dignity, respect, responsiveness, individually based approach, person-centered, balance, tolerance, accepting, learning, understanding, find and or ask and find out, the person's story, innovative, adaptive, empathy and open to others' points of view, intercultural learning, which came from cultural awareness, courage, growth, whole person centered, transparency, the things that make people unique, call people what they want to be called when it comes to their names, their gender and pronouns. This is what you can expect from us, and this is what we expect from you, mutuality. And we're supportive and honoring of different identities that people have. So in that, is there anything that people would add or would like me to bold or highlight and take back to the group as something that resonates to you as well? And I can't see you, so if you raise your hand, I probably won't call on you.
Hands raised. Okay, now I've widened you guys so I can see you.
This is Jacob. I would be curious if the word compassion or compassionate may fit on that list.
Yes.
And as I also consider a lot of the work that is doing is both partnership based, but it's also collaborative. I don't know if collaborative was on that list. I don't know if I missed it, but that might be an important thing.
That's great. Thank you.
I second that too, that collaborative, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And I also really liked one up there that I can't remember right now because the brain's mush, but you had a really good one up there that made me think of, I think it was the right services at the right time. I was like, oh, impactful, powerful. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Great.
Anyone else would like to put their voices on this equity panel in the words that were said?
I really like intention as well. I think sometimes, that can kind of get lost, but to be really intent on what the individual needs at the time and what services and everything, that's a big one.
Okay, great.
Kind
Thank
of
you.
right into the right services at the right time, but I think to have the right intention, I think that stood out to me.
Great, thank you.
I like the idea of dignity. I feel like that's huge.
Mhm. Yes.
One I was going to say, dignity.
Mhm.
Anyone else have their hands up that I can see? All right, I'll put my opinion out there then as a committee member. This equity service gives an individually approach awareness that make people unique. Being a whole, being with this whole, being a whole person is something that I would try to, start off in conversation with them, and then also take the council notes in a way of no decision with with us, without us, etc. Maybe even change the language in a way of like an individually approach rather than just that, flash in the pan statements like that. So that's something that I would try to put in. I don't really remember what I put for this for this council as a demo statement, but also give them some courage to make their own statements, than just one worded statements in a way that you don't have a long list of statements, but a full approach of what they desire. And then we can hear from and move on from there. And then give or take, if we have to do our own mission statement today, or we have to move it to the agenda because they have not yet, been able to do it yet for, reasons. That sound good?
Sounds fine to me. Yeah.
All right. Now back to anyone else have an opinion on this equity, brainstorm, or what you would like from this group as a council?
I don't know, Brooke, if it's on there or not, but I know some folks that I've supported over the years, they don't feel valued. And I think it's really important that they feel like valued community members, and that they're not just part of a system and they're not just lost, but they are our community. And I think, I don't know if that's can be captured in one word, but I know that usually they feel kind of lost in the system.
So rather than be, so am I hearing, rather than being a client, be considered as a community member? Am I hearing that?
Yes,
Right.
just their value. Yes, I feel like a lot of times they just don't feel valued.
Okay.
Great,
So
thank you.
the value point that you're recognizing rather than just that other end.
Yeah.
I think as someone with the disabilities, sorry to go on my policy point, Sarah, I misheard you. That was on me on the value part, but I will say not being treated like the athlete or the student or that type of thing, in a way that be treated like a young professional, even at whatever level you are.
Mhm.
Level, it could be A level, it could be C level, or whatever it may be. But to be treated or to have that community outreach for others that are professionals, that's important in a way that they don't view you as that type of service. So that's what I would add on. Shasta?
Yeah, I would just add, I don't know how to put it in one word, so that's why I didn't really come forward, but just, I mean, all of these ideas that we're talking about and the idea of service is that they're the ones that are in charge. They're the ones who are leading their own plan. And then the service coordinator's job is to remove the barriers to making that happen. It's not a patronizing relationship where the service coordinator is creating some plan for them. So however you want to make that into one word.
No, that's great. It doesn't have to be one word. That's great. Thank you very much.
Gives them a direction, hopefully, to grow up to. Roxana, I see your hands up.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of continue on the same thought that Shasta brought up. So our person-centered is a huge thing because all our services are voluntary. And a big thing that the big thing that I've really tried to focus on as a service coordinator is that people aren't necessarily going to make the same choices that I make about certain things. And that's not my job to pass judgment regarding what their choices for services are going to be. And a lot of my job has been, especially people who are their own legal guardians, has been reaffirming that to their family members and their support teams, that like this person is the person who makes the final decision about their services. So person-centered, I don't know if there's anything about like choice in there, but I feel like that's a big part that we need to recognize.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa, I see your hands up.
Are we, maybe I just need clarification. Are we talking about adult program, or are we talking about children program, or are we talking?
We're talking about both. We're talking about our entire DD program.
For
Okay.
the equity side, yeah.
Yeah. As far as equity goes, I feel, and I'm just going to speak from a parent's perspective. There's this really fine line between allowing my minor child, whom I'm legally responsible for, I'm advocating for that child to have a right to speak up and, have a choice and have a say in how she would like for a day in her life to go and what she wants to look like when she's 25, right? What life is going to look like for her. And I feel I'm going to capture the word that Shasta used, which was patronizing, because I want to find a word that really exposes that, because it can be patronizing being the parent. And I want that to not happen, because the parent is the parent, like that's just a staple support member of a minor child experiencing disability, and we're part of it just as much as they are. And so I think moving forward, children, as time is going on, children with disabilities are having more and more abilities and access to things like communication, community, you name it, the list can go on, but I want to focus on communication, because the communication part is allowing more and more children to have voices, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I don't know, it's such a huge topic that I can't narrow it down to one word, but I did hear Shasta say the word patronizing, and it sort of just made me go, yeah, we can't do that. Like that's a big focus. So I would like that takeaway.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I see my hand up now. Last one, hopefully. I think I would like to see the committee's views of natural support versus the individual support, approach. Meaning natural support, having that control of equality versus the individual approach method of equality. I think that would help me in my side of the commission here, in a way of knowing the history of older members of equality versus, say, younger members of equality in this type of discussion. So.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for all of your help. And I will take this back to the committee that is on the mission to write the mission and vision and values statement.
Shasta had her hand up still.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was Shasta. Did you have more?
No, I did not have more, but I do, agree with Lisa that children's services and adult services are very different, and that needs to be acknowledged.
Sure. Okay.
And again, on my end, it's natural support versus non-natural support versus individual approach.
I guess, John, I need more explanation on that. I love that you're talking about it, but I don't think I know what that means.
Hopefully I'm talking the language in this department. Natural support means parents and those who are naturally attached to the client. I apologize if I just said children on record. Again, I'm trying to help my own ignorance to those with disabilities hearing this. But natural support is those parents and relatives that are, and people very, very close with the clients, for example. Non-natural supports are the people who are working for the client, for example. That's the best example I can give you on the fly in the way of that type of language, versus the individual approach, no decision without us, is the client, drives the change. And so that's why I'm trying to communicate to Brooke on her edge of equality, and in a way of bridging it together as an advocate, in a way of having those who are older, like myself and others, have their own decision-making process, versus say those who are younger, who have a legal obligation to be parents, versus the non-natural support that help those children, for example, in the services that they gain in a county or a brokerage system. So did I wrap that up? I don't know if I wrapped that up properly, but if anyone else maybe be able to put an opinion on stateside, we're about a minute over, but that's the best I can point out what natural and non-natural support and
I appreciate it. I wanted to make sure that I was clear.
Absolutely. With dealing with equity. So that's what I was wanting to mention.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I think we're on to the next side of our life. And that would be agenda item for next meeting. Oh, sorry.
I actually have a second piece in that section.
I apologize, Brooke.
It's okay. I'm going to try and do it really quickly, because I recognize also that we're now just a little bit off in our agenda in terms of time. But I am going to talk with you about this. So as we're recruiting new members for our DD Council, we definitely want to have a robust council, so that we always, have the opportunity to have a quorum available and be able to make decisions and do voting. And one of the things that we recognize, so we went back to our Oregon administrative rule that has to do with the advisory committee. And one of the things that it says is that we want to make sure that we have representation from the county and the community council, which includes geographical, making sure that we have folks from all different parts of our county, people from different races, people from different of different ages. And so that way we can kind of see where we don't have representation and try to fill those gaps, and try to, as we build a robust council, try to make sure that we get different folks in here and different voices and perspectives. One of the things we realized is that in our application process, we didn't get any demographic information from any of you all. So we actually don't know what our council is comprised of when it comes to demographics. And going forward, since we want to make sure that we are kind of reaching out and filling the gaps, we need to know where those gaps are. So I would like to propose, Amy and I put together a poll. It's a very short one. It's 8 questions long. It will probably take you 4 minutes because it's all about you. And the information is completely anonymous. We actually can't tell who answered what. We can't tell if you don't answer. And so you have that option too. But it would be very helpful for us going forward to have this demographic information about the council. So I'm wondering if we could take about 4 or 5 minutes of your time and do a poll with these 8 questions. So I think that maybe I'd like to have you vote on it. I'm wondering if someone would
second that motion or first that motion, or do we want to just vote?
A poll. I vote for a poll.
All right.
Second.
I vote for a poll. Yeah, I second.
All right.
Okay. And as I said, if you're not interested in answering it, you don't have to. You can just wait the time out, and Amy will just take a few minutes and put that up for you. And one of the things I wanted to let you know is you scroll down to find all of the questions. They all will show up for you at once. So just scroll down and answer. When it comes to race and ethnicity, you do have the option of answering more than one response.
I just want to clarify, we had a first and a second, and so everyone in favor of the motion to generate the poll, if you would vote yes, aye, whatever.
Aye.
Sorry. I thought I saw a vote.
Yeah, I thought I did too.
Well, it was, I think it got lost in making motions, and so I
Yeah.
just wanted it clear for the record that there was a vote, and, okay.
Gabby, were you a yes or no? Yes, okay.
Are Colleen and myself, is it okay for us to participate in the poll?
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna
I
see
think
about
that's
the
fine.
It would be helpful, actually.
But not the county employees.
Right.
Right, yes. Okay.
So Roxy, Stacy, Kim, me, Brooke, no touching. Okay,
I
I'm
don't know,
launching
as
it.
a council, I might be interested as just a committee member, but let's continue on because of time. All right, thank you, guys.
Okay, so I think everybody's answered. I'm gonna give it just another 30 seconds or so. If you can scroll back through your answers, and I think you can adjust them if needed. But I'm pretty sure we have everybody on there. So I'll just give it another 30 seconds or so, and then I'll close it. And just to be clear, I can only see the number of answers. I can't see who answered what. I just see how many people answered the questions. Okay, polls ended. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
All righty. Are we gonna need to request anything? Talking to the county employees?
Do people want to see the results as a whole? We could put those in the minutes
Okay.
if interested.
I think I'm interested in not necessarily all of those questions, but kind of who we are in the council, you know, parent, community member, individual, provider, that kind of, you know, I think that would be interesting because all of our experiences and what we put into this, it'd be neat to know what perspective that's coming from, if it's a parent, an individual, or whatnot. For me personally, I just think that would be kind of neat to know.
Okay, we can include that. That's actually on the applications. So that is information that we collect. And we can provide that, and it is, I'm assuming it's okay to do a kind of an anonymous way. This is how many people we have who are family members. These are how many providers we have, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Are we actively recruiting right now for other members?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I'll take this one. Once we get our current applicants finalized and put through, the council will open up again for recruitment.
Okay.
And I believe we'll have maybe one provider opening, and then the rest will have individuals and families.
That includes the 8 of that one provider, or it's going to be 8 community members plus 1 provider.
I'm gonna have to look at numbers. I think we can have up to 3 providers.
Okay. Something in the meeting minutes that I would like to discuss later
Mhm.
officially.
I'll have to take a look at exactly what we have, but I'm pretty sure we'll have, because I think we lost a provider
Okay.
due to, I think it's scheduling stuff, but I'm not quite certain, so I don't want to misspeak.
Just
But I
something
think
in
we're going to
the
have
minutes.
room for 1 provider. Huh? Sorry.
Sorry, no, 1 provider. I interrupted.
No, you're okay. I think we're gonna.
Just something I would like to note into the meeting minutes for later on, in a way that to discuss how we set up the meeting minutes on it. Something important to me, because representatives is important.
We can include that on the minutes.
Also, non-voting members too. Which, as a committee member, I'm saying non-voting members too. How many and how to have that conversation. And it can be second on that if possible. I don't want to take too much time again, since I put in the last 2 meetings, but the value of having a non-voting voice in this type of environment is important, as someone who has been an advocate, at least on coalitions and experience. If someone would please or do that second motion thing, so we put that in the minutes, I would appreciate it. If not, I understand. Sarah, you have a question?
I do. How many members are we looking to have total?
My screen keeps changing where I am and where everybody else is. I'm not sure why. So I'm just, where's my unmute? We can have up to 18 voting members. However, because it is, it's a public forum, anybody can join. It's just, we can only have 18 voting members. So anybody is welcome to join the meetings and listen, give input, but we can only have 18 voting members.
On my side, the difference is I can still make an opinion outside just public. So someone can come in and not interrupt us, but have their perspective. And it does help, at least, as chair, to get other perspectives into voices that may or may not just be the public view or the children's view, but it helps the leadership of others. And that's why yeah.
I have a question. John, I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding a piece of it. So in the minutes, we want to make sure that we're capturing everyone that's.
I mentioned for a motion for discussion for when we do the schedule, for next meeting on this topic, that we can have a discussion on non-voting members versus public members, in a way of advocates having a voice that may or may not be, available to be on a council. I'm mainly talking about for myself is one high school representative and one transition program representative to be on a non-voting member of this council in a way that they can get their perspectives out there too. In a way, rather than if committee spots are filled with all of our other expertise in areas.
Thank you.
That's where I'm trying to put in the minutes for today. And hopefully Neil and others, or we can, if not, that's not the way we're going in Clackamas County, but I do know the importance of that type of voice as an advocate to, with 20 other professionals like yourself, Kim and Brooke and every Stacy, young and old, to have that type of voice in a way of, meeting prep, etc. And I just, yeah, it helped out a lot, definitely as a committee to know their perspective on in the voice. It may not, I can't vote for certain things on different, coalitions, but I can at least communicate with other executives. And that helped a lot in a way of knowing the level of services that someone as an individual with disability can, provide. My agent may not know. Okay, the top person may or may not know. Okay, it helps people put a voice out there too. And
Thank you. Yep,
thank you for
I
clarifying
appreciate
for the
that very
minutes to
much.
be official. Yeah. All right. So yeah. Any questions on that last part? I know we only have about 15 minutes, guys, and we have about 2 other agenda items, but any questions on that for me as an advocate of what I'm trying to propose? Any ideas to improve that idea? Okay, I guess we'll talk about it later. Yes, a motion to talk about it later.
Yes.
Okay, Sarah has a first motion. Would there be a second motion to talk about this later?
I second the motion to talk about this at the next meeting.
Now, thanks to Kim and her due diligence, would we like to vote on that in a way of talking about that later in a way that I'm also learning on the fly? All right, will someone want to call for a vote?
I'll call for a vote.
I don't know if we can do 2 the same. Would there be another one? Would there be another member that call for a vote?
Yeah, I'll call for a vote.
All right. So people who would like to vote for that motion, say aye or thumbs up or hi. All right. I'll read the minute meetings on that, and I appreciate your efforts on that, at least for the efforts to continue the conversation. All right, there was our first motion on that side of life. Anything on the request to add on the county side? Brooke, did he say everything he needed to say on the meeting agenda? Yes. All right. Awesome. This is for the good of the order. Now we get old businesses next meeting, but Brooke. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I was done with that other thing. The new thing
Yes.
for in terms of agenda item, we are going to share out with you when we send out the meeting notes, the service equity assessment that we just completed. It's a large document, but there's also a quick reference guide that might be easier to go through. And it's your choice. You can go through all of it if you'd like, but we would like to be able to have a discussion with you at the next meeting about it. So I'd like to be on the agenda for next time.
Anyone want to second or first that request from Brooke in her department? I will officially be the first one to would like to hear more information on what was just requested. So first nomination on that. Would someone have a second on that?
I'll second it.
All right. Someone want to call for a vote on it, or do I call for the vote? How about if I call? Well, I don't know if I can double it now.
I'll
All right.
vote.
Call for the vote. All right, let's go for the vote for Brooke and the request that was just made. Yeah, that was an aye, Lisa, not a hands up, right?
Oh, it was both. Aye.
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 All right.
Yeah.
I think we have a consensus on that request and what was on the agenda, Brooke. So there we go. Any follow-up questions to anyone of Brooke or relating programs on this council? Do they have any questions for the next 3 or 4 minutes? Then we get to the good of the order. Anyone? Nope. Lunchtime. All right. So so now we're at the good of the order, right? Kim, I'm gonna go. Yeah. All right. Actually, I have something for the good of the order, which is gonna be odd, but I'm gonna just put it out there anyway, in a way of the order of the county and programs working. So I made a call for the Portland Symphonic Choir in a way that for Arts for All, for example, for tickets for the Ukraine, presentation or whatnot. And knowing that it was a donation-based service, I kind of said it was not going to happen because, they want money and stuff like that. The thing that made me really be appreciative of what they did, it took them about a week or two, but the thing that made me really appreciate their efforts was they first contacted all the members that were going to be participating with this concert, meaning the Capella Romana, the rep singers, all these other departments, in a way that can we qualify for Arts for All? That's not the thing that really impressed me the most. What impressed me the most was that even though I was contacting the Portland Symphonic Choir, they contacted Capella Romana using their ticketing-based system, another department, another option, in a way of giving me the opportunity to maybe participate in this type of concert. So I relate to your own work life, but that type of interdepartment collaboration in a way that as a community is something that I am hoping personally as a committee member that we can all, be able to strive for, if it's, home-based services to ONA, to all these other services, in a way that we can, even though we may or may not, we all have our individual edges, it's one big community in a way of voices, if it's international, personal, whatever you may want to put that in. So that's something the good of the order that I was very impressed with, that, that helped me, grow and try to expand my abilities to be on this type of council and beyond. So I'll leave it to that for now, but if anyone else has something good in the order in the way that they've had achievements or, found that, something good, that happened around, Clackamas County, I'd love to hear in a way of that can help others beyond just ourselves. So if anyone has any stories, that's what good of the order I believe is. And I hope to hear some stories, today or later on that. Anyone want to raise their hand on it, or they just need to get some dinner and head on out and take some water and whatnot? But hopefully we will get there, and we'll definitely do old business later and continue. If there's anything that you need to contact, please contact Amy for now on my side, and then Neil and I will have to have some discussions monthly, I believe, and we'll continue with that conversation. Is that what is the process for us chair and vice chair to the county workers? And then we can wrap it up.
Can I actually ask for John and Neil to stay on for just a few minutes afterwards?
Okay, that helps.
That would be great.
That helps.
Yeah.
And then anyone else have any good stories, like someone who learned how to walk or talk or cook a meal, anything like that in a way of your life achievements? We can think about it until next meeting, but love to hear them. Okay. All right.
I'll throw one in there.
right.
I have an individual I'm supporting, and she was able for the first time to get a community job at a job that is kind of one of her dream jobs. And she has a lot of natural supports and coworkers that have come along and supported her in this. And she feels pretty amazing. And so this was somebody who was told, she's an adult, and she was told younger in her life she'd never be able to get a job. She'd never have those skills, and she's proven them all wrong, and she's doing amazing. And it's been very good to see the movie theater employees coming around and loving on her and supporting her and her making new friends. So that's a good thing that we've experienced.
Very cool.
Yes, it's been pretty great.
I appreciate that startup, Sarah. You're the first one to contribute on that outside of my own whatnot. I appreciate it. Anyone else for today or have any program questions to the Clackamas County staff for the next 2 minutes?
Can I share something really, really quickly that my daughter got to do?
Oh,
So she's at Westland High School. She's a senior. And one of her paras there is really involved in the theater program. And so my daughter got to go help out with the middle school musical. She didn't help a lot this year because one of the shows was the day it snowed, the freak snow in April, but I think this particular aide at the school is retiring this year, but she's involved in a lot of musicals, a lot of theater productions around, and so she's going to call on my daughter to go and be her makeup assistant and things like that. So that's really, really fun.
I hope to hear more stories about the CRT and other Clackamas County ideals in the arts and stuff with that. That sounds
Thank you.
All right, I think I'm about to say, if we're wrapping up, I'm going to ask one more time on the Clackamas County staff. Are we done on open discussions and good of the order? Or anything else that needs to be added?
And from our perspective, we're done. We're good.
You want to yield the time to other people's lives? I will need a first motion on that, second motion, and the call to vote to end the time, since we don't have to do that for extended time. Does someone want to first the motion to end time in a way of letting us have the next 3 minutes if we do it quickly? So a motion to close order. Any? We can stay here for 3 minutes.
Second.
All right, we need a first. That was the first, Shasta.
Oh, sorry.
All
I
right.
make a motion to close the meeting.
All right.
I
Someone want to
second.
All right, who wants to, I will call for the vote officially. So everyone, time to leave for 1, 2, 3, yes or no? My thumbs are up for that. Everyone say aye on that or not? All right, look.
Aye.
You got the vote, Amy, because you're the one that's my middle person right now. Do we have enough yeses on it? All right, I will stay, Neil will stay for Brooke, and you guys have a great evening. It's great to meet you guys. I hope we meet in person someday and have a conversation that way too, but.
Everybody in June.
all right.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to see you and meet you today.
Yes, nice to see you.
Thank you, everyone.
Sorry, Kim.
So we were thinking about, do we stop recording yet or not?
Yeah, please.